I'm in Tokyo, Japan right now, and you can see how small my hotel room is. I was in Hong Kong for about 3 months to spend more time with my family. I disappeared from social media. I actually don't know what I want to do today yet. I might go to a store, but first I'm gonna do my makeup. I don't usually do my makeup when I'm in America because, you know, I'm lazy, not a very girly girl. But in Japan, every single person looks so put together. They have their makeup on. Every girl here in Japan has a red eyeshadow on. Kind of looks like this. Not this exact brand, but I got it at their makeup store. It looks crazy on the camera for some reason, but it actually doesn't look that red. I woke up at noon, so it's already very late because I was working remotely. I think now I'm gonna go to my favorite store in Japan and bring you there and show you, but I'll probably buy a bunch of stuff that I don't need, which is not good because my suitcases are already too full. What I mean, there's so much stuff there to buy, I can literally spend hours in there. We are at Donki. Here's Donki. And this store is a discount store in Japan. It's huge. It can be really overwhelming to shop in Donki because there are literally thousands upon thousands of products and you just don't know what to buy, especially when they're all in Japanese. I actually feel really fortunate to be in Japan because I was still working at night, and that's what remote work and flexibility can get you. Sometimes I think back to the days that I was working in architecture in New York City, literally working probably at least 12 hours a day, at least 60 hours a week, sometimes 80 hours a week, and not seeing my family because my family lives in Hong Kong. I wouldn't be able to go back to see them for a long time because on no corporate vacation we only get like 2 weeks off a year, so I will only be able to go back 2 weeks. Sometimes they would let me go back for a month if I work remotely in the Hong Kong office, and that would be the maximum amount of time that they would let me go. So when COVID happened, then that I couldn't leave the country, or Hong Kong was closed for so long that I haven't seen my family in 3 years. Being able to go back this time for such a long time, for I think it's been about 3 months, it just feels good. And it reminds me, and every day I think about this, is that's why I quote unquote left being a traditional architect. Being able to have that flexibility, work remotely so I can see my family, is something that I've always wanted to do. It was the top priority when I was looking for a new job. And that's the career advice I always give people. I mean, I get a lot of questions like, should I change my job? Should I join this new company? And you really have to figure out your priority. When I was in my 20s, my priority was work. I was obsessed with work. I loved working. I didn't mind working overtime actually because I just loved it, and it was like the only thing I really cared about. And then when I get older, now I'm in my 30s, I have a new appreciation to relationships, to my family and friends, and that I want to make that my priority. It's just having good relationships with the important people in my life. Not that I'm not gonna work, or not that I'm gonna do a bad job at work. I'll still continue to try to do my best at work, but that's why I chose a job or a company that would allow me to work remotely. And you have to know that a lot of companies say they let you work remotely. They actually don't like it when you leave the country to go somewhere else, or even leave your states. When I was looking for a job to find a company that would allow me to go to Hong Kong and see my family, and I actually say that to them at interviews, both at Monograph and also at TestFit, I made it a point to say, hey, I'm gonna be out in Hong Kong for a few months a year. Is that something that you guys are willing to do? That's my long way to tell you that you have to figure out what your priority is in your career and also in your life. And your career is part of your life, so it's kind of the same thing. There's no right or wrong. You can definitely make work your priority. You can make family a priority, but not choosing is also a choice. If you're not choosing what your priority is in your career and just letting it happen, it's a choice that you're making in your career. So while I'm sitting next to the little panda friend over here, I'm just reflecting back, and I do this a lot when I travel, is reflecting back to my days in architecture and how I used to work at least 60, sometimes even 80 hours a week in the office in New York. It wasn't fun, you know. I mean, you get the classic burnout and you get really stressed, and I was so unhealthy. Like now I feel like such a happier and healthier person because of the work-life balance. And now that I'm working remotely, I've been doing this for I think more than 2 years. I don't even remember. I feel like such a happier person. And my friends tell me, my family tells me that I look much healthier, I look much happier. I do feel really grateful that I have this remote work schedule and the flexibility that the companies that I've worked for the past 2 years have given me. Your priorities change through different years of your life, and I think it's important to recognize them at any moment. There's no right or wrong. Figure out what your priority is and don't just let life get away. Find a company or start a business, whatever you want to do that would support that priority, support the lifestyle that you want. It shouldn't be the other way around. I finally realized why there are pandas everywhere, because there's a zoo in this city and I'm sure they have panda. There's a giant line, as you can see behind me, to see the deer pandas, which really sucks because I don't want to stand in line and don't have time to stand in line today. So I guess we'll just have to look at pictures of panda. Sad face. Is that what people say nowadays? Here is the panda that we can't see because the line is too long. Here is the history of panda in the zoo. I found the panda secretly from the outside. We're done with the park and the zoo, even though we didn't really get to see the panda.